Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How y'all doing today? Today is Friday, so it means it's spring break is almost over and kids go back to school unless your kids have gone back to school. Mine hasn't, but yeah. I am Melissa and I'm always here Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesday, and I talk about true crime. I also talk about different topics. On Friday, I dedicate my Fridays to talk about missing kids, and today I'm going to be talking about a new one, but this one is soft, but I don't think the body has been found yet. I don't remember. This one, it was a while that I was researching it. So if you like any of that, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified every time I upload. I like to start my videos with poems of the day, so let's go ahead and start. The love I have for you is so pure, it's so strong, it's forever, and I don't think you'll ever understand how much I love you. How deeply in love I am with you. I will show you as much love as I possibly can every day. People fall out of love because they don't show enough of it, and it gets boring showing you the love I have for you, and that's a promise forever and always. So that was the poem of today, guys. I know that a lot of people have asked me why do I do it, and it's because some of these, well, not all of these cases are really hard for me to talk about it, and I know the poems don't have to do anything with the case, but it kind of helps me when I do talk about these cases, especially when it does come to missing kids cases. Reading any type of poem, it just makes me relax and just calm a little bit, just because of how hard these cases are. I mean, there's times like you won't see me post for a while, and this is because sometimes we as YouTubers and the ones in the crime community, some cases do hit us really hard. Me personally, I think kids are the ones that really do kind of affect me in a lot of way. But yeah, that's why I started doing that. So yeah. So let's go ahead and start. So today we're going to talk about Etan. Like I say, this is a soft case. They know who did it, but I don't think they have found the body. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Etan was an American boy who was 6 years old on May 25th, 1979, when he disappeared on his way to school bus stop in the Soho neighborhood of Lower Manhattan. His disappearance helped launch the missing children movement, which include new allegations and new methods for tracking down missing children. Several years after his disappearance, Patz was one of the first children to be profiled on the photo on a milk carton, campaigning of the early 1980s. In May 1883, President Ronald Reagan designed May 25th, the anniversary of Etan's disappearance, as National Missing Children Day in the United States. Decades later, it was determined that Patz had been abducted and murdered the same day he went missing. The case was reopened in 2010 by the Manhattan District Attorney Office. In 2012, the FBI excavated the basement of a legal crime scene near the Patz residence, but discovered no new evidence. Pedro Hernandez, a suspect who confessed, was charged in later that year on charges of second-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping in 2014. The case went through a series of hearings to determine whether or not Hernandez's statement before he received his Miranda rights were legal and admissible at trial. His trial in January 2015 and the end with the mistrial that May, when first one of the 12 jurors held out. The trial began on October 19, 2016, and it was concluded on February 14, 2017, after 9 days of deliberations, when jury found Hernandez guilty of murder and kidnapping. Hernandez was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison on April 18, 2017. Hernandez will not be eligible for parole for 25 years. On the morning of May 25th, 1979, Etan left his Soho apartment at 113 Pine Street by himself for the first time, planning to walk 2 blocks to board at school bus at Western Border in Prince Street. He was wearing a black Furcher Flight Captain pilot cap, a blue Curdy jacket, blue jeans, and blue sneakers with Florence stripes. He never got on the bus. At school, Etan's teacher noticed his absence but did not report it to the principal. When Etan did not return home after school, his mother, Julie, called the police. And I'm going to stop right there. Side note, I think back then when you're dating because now, like, if you don't go to if you don't go to school, they call your parents. But I think back then they didn't. They didn't have to call your parents or report that you were in, or report to the principal that you were in school. But I think that was the case that changed all that, because I've heard of cases like that where the teachers don't even tell the principal, they don't tell the parents, and they don't find out until after. So it's like hours later to where you could have found out in the morning, and maybe you could have, figure out where were your kid. You remember you woke up your kid and sent him to school. So I think that I'm glad that changed. At first, detectives considered that Ethan's to be possible suspect, but clearly determined that they had no environment. And an instant search began at evening using nearly 100 police officers and a team of bloodhounds. The search continued for weeks. Neighbors and police canvassed the city and placed missing children posters featuring Ethan's portrait, but there resulted in a few leads. Ethan's father, Stanley, was a professional photographer and had a collection of photographies he had taken of his son. His photos of Ethan's were printed out countless missing child's posters and mail cartons that were also projected on the screen in Times Square. Assessors in the United States Attorney Sir R. Grabios received the case in 1885 and defined Jose Antonio Ramos, a convicted child sexually abuser who had been afraid of Ethan's former babysitter, as the prime suspect. In 1982, multiple boys had accused Ramos of trying to lure them in a drain pipe in the area where Ramos was living. When police searched the drain pipe, they found photographies of Ramos and young boys who resembled Ethan. Grabius eventually found that Ramos had been in custody in Pennsylvania in connection with the unrelated child molestation case in 1990. Grabius was deposed as the Deputy State Attorney General in Pennsylvania to help prosecute a case against Ramos for sexually abusing children and to obtain further information about Ethan's case. When first questioned by Grabius, Ramos stated that on the day when Ethan disappeared, he had taken a young boy back to his apartment to rape them. Ramos said he was 90% sure it was the boy who he later saw in television. However, Ramos did not use Ethan's name. He also claimed he had to put the boy on a subway. In 1991, while Ramos was incarcerated, a jailhouse informant told Gabos and FBI agent that Mary Gabin that Ramos had told him he knew who had happened to Ethan. Ramos even drew a map of Ethan's school bus route and indicated that he knew that Ethan's bus stop was the third one on the route. In a special feature on missing children, the New York Post reported on October 21st, 1999, that Ramos was the prime suspect in Ethan's disappearance. Ramos has been known by the Ethan family and was the prime suspect all along, but in the early 80s, authorities were unable to prosecute Ramos. Ethan's body was never found. He was declared legally dead on June 19, 2001. Easton and Julie Patz pursued and won a silver case against Ramos in 2004. They were awarded a symbolic sum of $2 million, which they had never collected. Ramos had never been criminal prosecuted for the murder of Ethan. Every year, on Ethan's birthday and the anniversary of his disappearance, Stan Patz sends Ramos a copy of his son missing children poster. On the back, he typed the message, "What did you do to my little boy?" Ramos had denied that he killed Ethan. Ramos served 20-year prison sentence in the state of correctional institution in Dallas, Pennsylvania, for child molestation. He was released from prison on November 7, 2012. Soon after his release, he was arrested on Megan law violation. Stan and Julie Patz had the 2004 judgment against Ramos dismissed after the 2015 trial of Pedro Hernandez conviction. Then the Ramos was not responsible for their son's death. Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. officially reopened the case on May 25, 2010. On April 19, 2012, FBI and New York City Police Department investigation began excavating in the Soho basement of 27B Prince Street near the Patz home. The residence had been nearly refurnished shortly after Ethan disappeared in 1979, and the basement had been workshop and storage space of handyman. After a 4-day search, investigators announced that there was nothing conclusive found. On May 24th, 2012, New York police considered Brownie Kelly announcer that the man was in custody who had implicated himself Ethan's disappearance. According to the New York Times, a law enforcement official identified the man as 51-year-old Pedro Hernandez in Mapa Shade, New Jersey, and said that he had confessed to strangling the child. He stated that in his written confession to police, "I'm sorry, I choked them." According to 2009 book about the case, after Ethan had $1 and had to tell his parents he planned to buy a soda to drink with his lunch. At the time of Ethan's disappearance, Hernandez was 18 years old, convenience store worker in a neighborhood bodega. Hernandez said that he later threw Ethan's remains in the garbage. Hernandez was charged with second-degree murder, according to the New York Times report from May 25, 2012. The police at the time had no physical evidence to corroborate his confession. In 2012, a man from New Jersey, Lopez, reached out to investigator. He believed that Hernandez Lopez's brother-in-law was in fact responsible for Ethan's disappearance. Statement by Hernandez's sister Nia Hernandez and Thomas River, leader of a charismatic Christianity group at St. Anthony of Padua, a Roman Catholic church in Connecticut, New Jersey, indicate that Hernandez may have publicly confessed in the presence of a fellow prisoner in the early 1980s to murdering Ethan. According to Hernandez's sister, it was an open family secret that he had confessed in the church. A New York grand jury indicated Hernandez on November 14, 2012, in charge of second-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping. His lawyer has stated that Hernandez was diagnosed with psychology personality disorder, which includes hallucinations. The lawyer has also said his client has a lower intelligence quotient IQ of around 70 at the border of intelligent disability. On December 12, 2012, Hernandez pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of murder, 1 count of kidnapping in New York court. On April 2013, Harvey Fishbin, Hernandez's legal aid criminal defense lawyer, filed a motion to dismiss his case, stating that Hernandez's confession is one of the nation's most notorious child disappearances was false, prepared with questionable claims, and made after almost 7 hours of police questioning. The next month, however, New York Supreme Court Justice Maxwell will ruled that the evidence was legally significant to support the charges and that the case could move forward. He also ordered a hearing to determine whether the defense statement could be used at trial. Hernandez has a hearing in September 2014 about whether his statement made prior to police giving him his Miranda rights were legally admissible at trial. This would be influenced by whether or not he will feel free to leave during this time before he was informed of his Miranda rights. The hearing was also to determine whether or not he understood the significance of Miranda rights and was competent to waive them when he did so. This was significant because it would decide whether any statement made after the point by Hernandez were legally admissible at trial. The actual truth or falsehood of the statements was not to focus of the hearing rather than question of the statement. Truthfulness was to be discussed in the trial, which began on January 5, 2015. The case resulted in mistrial on May 2015 due to hung jury, which was deadlocked 11-1 for conviction. A trial began on October 19, 2016 in New York City Court with the jury deliberations in February 2017. On February 14, 2017, Hernandez was found guilty of kidnapping, felony murder. Sentencing was scheduled on February 28th, with Hernandez facing up to 25 years to life in prison. However, Hernandez's attorneys were granted a delay so as to be able to challenge the verdict, and now new sentence date was set. On April 17, 2017, Hernandez was sentenced to life prison with the possibility of parole after serving at least 25 years. In 1983, the May 25th anniversary of Etan Patz disappearance was assigned to National Missing Children Day in the United States. In 2001, the tribute spread worldwide. The National Center for Missing and Exploring Children candidates that help bring them home campaigning in 22 countries in conjunction with the International Missing Children Day. The extensive media attention given to Ethan's disappearance have been created with creating great attention to missing children. resulting in change such as less willingness to allow children to walk to school, photos of missing children being printed on milk cartons, and promotion of the concept of stranger's danger. The idea that all adults not knowing to the child must be regarded as a potential source of danger. And that is the story, sad story of Etan Etan Patz. Guys, I'm sorry. For some reason, reading this story, and yeah, the case is solved because they know who did it, but it's not solved because the parents still don't have a body. Like, I always wonder, what gives a person, like, what gives you the right to end people's life? And not just people, but children, innocent children. Like, I don't know, guys. I'm trying not to cry because this case, and even, I mean, he did say he threw it in the trash. That's like one of the lowest. Like, you killed a child and then you threw his body in the trash like he was trash, and you lived for so many years and not even said anything. And for his family I'm sorry, you my family, and you tell me, hey, I murdered somebody. You best believe I was gonna call 911. You told the wrong person. I do not care. Do not. I'm finna bribe you. No, you're not finna live free while you committed a murder and act like you finna get away with it. No, ma'am. It just sucks because if that's true, that he did threw that little boy's body in the trash, those parents, it's just, I always wonder, like, what gives people the right to take people's lives, especially innocent kids that could have been, that had so much ahead of them. If y'all see his picture is, he is so adorable. The little boy he was so adorable. And I never, like I said, I'm glad that they, that they changed that. Because back then, I guess, when a kid didn't go to school, the principal, I guess the teacher didn't have to say anything. But I think if that would have been a priority back then, I think the parents would have found the body sooner, because the teacher didn't say anything. She knew he was absent, but he didn't tell the principal, so the principal couldn't call the parents. The parents found out like hours later. This whole time they thought that he was in school when he really wasn't, and I'm glad that they changed that rule. You as a parent, you send your kids to school, and to come find out and your kid was never even in school, like, what the hell? Like, why? And this is not the first case I've heard. I've heard a lot of cases on that parents do not even call the parents to see where your child is, why your child not in school. But yeah, guys, that was the case for today. I will see you on Monday with the new case. I will be talking. Let me see who I'll be talking about next Monday, because I forgot. There's a routine that goes on when I'm not here. Oh, I'll be talking about a nurse, killing nurse. So y'all get ready, because that's one of my new topics on Monday. See ya.